Hey, what's going on, everyone? Just gonna do a part two to my little series here. I just put up a part one series about the technology, and I had a teammate start talking about technology. He was saying that he uses his sheet from basically, and no offense in saying this, 1942, and it's telling him that he needs to do 75% here, 35% there, and between us guys, I used to use that sheet, and I'm not actually going to knock that sheet at all, especially for mid, maybe lower players and stuff like that. I guess it's an okay basis, but I'm going to go ahead and maybe give you guys my keys to the cars. I've been explaining this to a lot of other players lately. I get asked about the technology all the time, and a lot of different things, and I've always been super upfront and cool about it. I was bullied a long time ago, several years ago, and I started working on the technology and throwing the sheets away and what actually works. And I can't even tell you guys how many times I have reset the technologies into figuring out my hack for this. So I'm gonna tell you guys my hack, and the reason being is I have nothing to lose, and really I have nothing to gain except for especially smaller players and medium players, just to have a little bit of an edge. It's kind of why I've always done these videos. I'm always here to try to help anybody out. There's never been a question that I've never answered, no matter what size of a player, what country they're from. I've always been very transparent about some of this, and I don't mind kind of going over this. But my part one video was about I'm going to do this just so it doesn't get confusing. I'm going to reset this technology as I'm talking in front of you guys, and we're going to start from square one. But my part one is all of your weapons more powerful than your damage increase. And so that part one was very interesting because when you're doing a Titan, I'm going to use this as a Titan, and I kept telling players, if you max out your aerial against players and your aerial defense against players and your base armor over your weapons, and especially for smaller players and medium players that don't have a lot of tech, believe it or not, that is the best and most powerful tech to put on. Believe it or not. I don't care what sheet you're using. I don't care. So I'm just telling you guys one of my secrets. Again, I was bullied a long time ago, and I started figuring this out. And I have an old school video called Bullying and Etiquette that you guys can even look up. And it was the first time that I actually talked about the tech, and I didn't have it completely correct the way I do now, but that video was really cool, and it kind of makes me laugh a little bit that that's how it started for me on trying to figure out my own tech setups. And again, kind of throwing away the sheets here, and just working on a different idea of how this works. And so again, I maxed out all my aerial, maxed out all my defense, and I didn't really do the armor maxed, and it kind of trickled into to my weapons on that video. But I was able to beat players just as big and bigger that were kind of bullying me, and I was the only player that was their size. There were several of them, and it was just kind of a nightmare, and I'm sure all of you have been there. But again, that kind of started my whole revolution of how I do my tech and what I think's more important. And so when I was talking to a player about it, I said, how can I prove this? And so I came up with my part one series. I don't know if you guys watched it, but you see me do all of my weapons maxed versus maxed increased damage to increased damage against boss, because that's what the Titan is. And so what was cool about that video is with two technologies versus 12, it was pretty dang close. And the reason why I can honestly say that is because if you take the two technologies, I think what I spent on the two technologies, I had basically 2.9 million in technology. So when I did all of my weapons in that video, it came down to 1.8 million. And then when I did basically the damage increase, the only two, I only spent 0.55 out of that. And I still had 23 or 2.37 million left over. So what I mean by that is by doing the all weapons, it took a whole bunch more technology versus the damage increase. And I think there was a 9 billion difference between doing all of the weapons versus, again, the damage increase. And of course, I didn't even have the same base power. And it was a really cool video of showing how powerful this side is versus your weapons. And I've kind of always known that, again, because of PvP. So I gave you guys a little secret to my PvP. And you know, I'm always talking to players about this, so I don't mind even doing this video, so I don't have to always say it all the time. I can just, you know, help you guys out. And this is just me. Now, again, I'm not knocking the sheets, guys. You know, I'm not. I did use the sheets, and they were pretty helpful. But for me, how could I maximize this better? And again, this is kind of what the part 2 is can I prove by equaling out now the damage increase to what it takes basically for all the weapons. And so the other thing is a lot of big debates about Prime versus Megatron. And I figured out a little while ago, and I'm sure I'm going to catch slack on this, and I'm sure everybody's going to argue about it, but let me tell you a secret here, guys. Basically, Prime and Megatron are the same ship. And one's energy and one's physical. Prime is physical. And so I had another conversation with the player talking about the missiles, saying that the missiles were the weakest. And I do have a lot of videos. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but I got a ton of videos of Titan comparisons on the missiles, the wing guns, the main guns, even some of the common ships. I've been going through the list here. And you know, some will debate, well, it's not a single target, it's not a multiple target. And guess what, guys? I've been putting up the single targets on also the Titan, just to kind of make both sides of the fields here happy. And I don't know if that'll ever be possible, but you know, these are just for fun, guys. When I do these videos, my hopes has always been that you guys look at the videos. Do your own tests. I don't know how many times I can say this instead of saying, well, he didn't do that. He didn't do this. He didn't have enough testing here. He should have done this. He should have. Okay, guys, great. That's fine. That's not the point of the video. The point of the video is if that's what you're saying, the point of these videos are go do the testing. Send me your videos, and all we're trying to do is get the high scores. How do we defend ourselves better against the bullies? How do we? And that's all these videos are, guys. Again, I'm not the voice of Wing Fighter. I'm not a master at this. I'm not a numbers guy into this game. For me, is the whole thing is seeing is believing. And so, again, if you guys take these videos, go do your own testing. Send me your videos. I say this all the time in my older videos. Send me the videos. We'll talk about it. Hey, if you got something that's going to help me, I'm all about it. I mean, that's what it's about. We're just, again, trying to get the high scores. But going back to Megatron and Transformers, I'm just going to put it out there, guys. I am going to put this out here. And, you know, I've been so angry with Wing Fighter. I've even messaged them over this, but Prime was supposed to be the new Conqueror, the most powerful ship, and Megatron, and that's how they promoted it. And so Megatron was supposed to be the new destroyer and the most powerful. And during the event, this was true. With some of the testing that I have, proof on the Wing Fighter site here and YouTube channel, it was true. But after the event, they nerfed these Transformers to the worst Titans. And I know, guys, the ones that invested into these, I know, don't be mad at me for saying it. Don't be, I'm just telling you the truth. I got ripped off too, just like you guys. And they nerfed these so badly. And so Megatron and Optimus basically function the same way as your setups. your same technology. They didn't even try to. So generally on your physical Conqueror, your main gun is the best, basically, in your missiles. Going back to Destroyer and Thor, your missiles and your wing gun is the best. So that's kind of how you want to set those up. But they didn't do that with Optimus. Believe it or not, Optimus, your best selects are your wing gun and also your missiles. And so that's kind of why I've been using this, is because it's kind of the worst of the Titans here. It's the most confusing of the Titans. And again, talking with other players, you know, they want testing on Megatron, they want testing on Prime. So I'm kind of mixing this in here a little bit just to talk about it just a little bit. And, you know, again, I've got a ton of videos that you guys can go back and, you know, you can see the Titans. The missiles, I was told the missiles on Megatron and basically Prime were the worst, and that's not true, guys. They're not the best, but they're not the worst. But technically, after testing, and I've got another Prime test that I'm going to put up after this video that I did, and really the main gun is the worst, especially for Prime. And I would assume Megatron, because they're basically the same ship. Now, everybody's going to argue, and I'm probably going to catch slack in saying this. And if you have a Megatron, you can do the same test and, you know, come back and tell me if you're getting the same results or if it's way different. But I can almost guarantee you they're the same. So, again, on your Prime here, your main gun is your worst. And you should be arming the wing gun and the missiles. And again, after this video, I'll put out my other video test and also prove that to you guys. I got a couple of other really cool videos that I haven't released, just waiting to finish this one. But this has actually been kind of a difficult video to do in unison here and get it right. And so hopefully I'm not mangling this all up with you guys. But okay, so going back to the technology and what the main purpose of this test, from the first test to the second test, is going back. So in the first test, you know, I did my all weapons against basically the damage increase. But on this video, I'm going to do it differently a little bit, because whatever I spend now on all of these weapons is what I'm going to equal out to on the damage increase. And so this is going to hopefully prove how powerful that damage increase and even your defense. You know, I'm not talking too much about the defense because I'm not too worried about the defense right now, but it also applies to that defense. So when you're going to your Titan, I know some of those sheets out there say do 75% offense and 35%. And I think that's a gigantic mistake, guys. And I'm going to be super honest with you. So I don't really talk much in the Discord forums, but I do go over there and I do read them. So just giving you guys heads up, I do go over there and I read and, you know, see what everybody else is saying and stuff. And one day I saw one of the players say, maxing, and this is for a bigger player, obviously, maxing the, here, we'll go over here, maxing against the ground, because the Titan's ground and it's a boss. But I saw a player say it, and I had already figured out, you know, again, the PvP side about maxing, but I wasn't really necessarily doing it. I'm not necessarily using the sheets, but somewhat. But I saw a player say maxing out the ground and maxing out the boss defense was giving them a way higher score. And I said, you know, what? Wait a second. And so for quite a while now, I've been testing this off to the side without putting the tests out. And he was right. And so hats off to that player for, you know, mentioning that. And again, what was sad about it is he had about, I don't know, 50 players tell him he was wrong. And, you know, that's kind of why I don't go into the main Discord. You know, it's just sometimes not a friendly discussion. And I stay off to the side and I just make videos. I'd rather see seeing is believing. But technically, that side of it wasn't my idea. But I have been testing it a really long time after reading that. And he was right. And like I said, these videos here from the first to now, is there a way to prove that? Now, again, I'm not getting into the defense side, but obviously if this offensive side works the way I'm kind of showing you guys and telling you and giving you a different strategy of how to set up your technology, it works. I'm telling you guys. And so going back to the equipment here, that was the test here, is getting all of your main weapons more important than your damage increase. And on that part 1, I deliberately said no. Now again, all weapons did beat these 2, and say it again, 2 technologies versus 12, but technically it didn't, because when my base power was lower and I didn't use as many technologies, that's why I said no. Because now here's the other little myth to me about all the technologies. Everybody's like, oh, those damage increase and the enemy weaken are so expensive. You should only trickle in here and trickle in there. And that's not true. That's not true at all. And again, I'm going to prove it. And so right here, so here's the weapons, okay? Guys, look up there. 1.84 million is what I spent to get 12 maxed out technologies. Okay, so you guys keep that in mind. I'm going to write this little number down because it's a little bit different from my part 1. And so my part 1 was actually 1.82 on the technology being spent on the all weapon. And so what's going to happen is, let's go ahead. We're going to run through this Titan with just the weapons, okay? And let's see what score that we get. Let me see here. And again, you guys heard what I said about Prime. You're not going to see me. I'm not going to arm the actual super main gun and missile, because that's not how it works on him. And most players don't really know that. And yes, your missiles are a little bit more powerful. So I'm sure there's going to be some argument, but again, I've got my videos. You guys can watch the videos, and then you can go out and do your own test. And you know, if you're getting different results, just let me know. So, but again, we're gonna go fight the Titan real quick with this little setup. Let's kind of see what happens, and we'll come back to a circle here, and then we're gonna do the other test. right, guys. Hopefully my internet's okay. I guess we have an internet outage, so let's hope I can continue doing this video. But okay, so not a bad round with the weapons by any means. There's no defense, I mean, 22.5 trillion with no additives or anything. I mean, that's pretty dang good. So now going back to what I've been saying. We're going to go to technology, and so we're at 1.84 million basically. We'll just round it a little bit. Let's reset this and see what happens when I equal this in part 2 here. So we're going to go to the damage increase this time, and of course we're doing a ground titan. So that's how that works, guys, especially for the new players watching. If it's an aerial, you're going to do your aerial. But of course, what are we fighting? A boss. So these two technologies are very important. I cannot say how important these are, guys. And so we're going to go back to the equipment now. And so here's my little tip. Here's my personal little hack. Okay, guys? And so I don't like trickling in my technology. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. So those sheets will tell you trickle in here, 75 here, 35. You're going to tap here the rest of your lives. And I started asking myself, well, what is the most important technologies? And again, you guys can go back to all my videos. I do so many different videos on the technology. What's the best technology for this weapon? Single technologies too. And so you can go back and watch all of these videos to see for yourself what the results were. And so they're generally, what is all the weapons best technology, guys? Say it before I say it. It is going to be your critical damages. So here's how I do my technology. Here's my little hack. This is just me, okay? So I will do my missile critical damage. And what did I say about Prime? It's not the main gun on Prime that's the best. And it's probably the worst. It's the opposite of the Conquer physical. Your wing gun is your worst. So I always do my worst weapons very last. Very last. And so I'll kind of show you what I mean by that, okay? So we're going to go wing gun critical damage now, because those are my two best weapons. And what we're trying to do is accomplish basically the same technology now. We're going to even it out. We're going to even it out instead of doing this and see, is it equal? Is it better? I haven't done this test yet. I'm doing this in real time with you guys. And so I just want to see if this is correct and if I can prove how critical the damage increase in your enemy weakened, even though I'm not doing the enemy weakened, but it does work the same, guys. Those are crucial. And so your critical rate is going to do what? Give you more critical damage. And so I'm going to do both of these. Like I said, I think my internet, we're having an outage in our neighborhood here, guys. So bear with me here a little bit. And okay, so now we have those maxed. Now you guys didn't see me go to 75. You didn't see me sit here and click 19 million times in front of you guys. I don't believe in that. I believe that you should max each level out. And again, this is me, and I'm sure I'm going to catch a lot of slack for this, and there's going to be a lot of arguments, and no, the sheet's right. And now you can skin a cat a couple different ways. Can you equal this and, equal it all out and do that? I'm sure you can. I'm sure there's a couple of different ways, but I'm showing you a faster and just my way that I do this. I'm giving you guys my keys to the car again. So we're at 2 million. Okay, and what did we spend on the last one? 1,844 basically. So now, going back, especially the Conquer, the attack rate is maybe one of the better Technologies on the Conquer main gun. So a year ago, the main gun didn't even work. And so if you have an old sheet and it's telling you not to do the Conquer main gun, there's kind of the problems now. And again, if you're using old sheets and old, something a year ago, even 6 months, shoot, even 3 months ago, might not work. And that's what's crucial about continually doing these videos and stripping down the technologies and doing single. And that's all I've been doing, guys. And again, are these videos perfect? No, not at all. Now, can we do them a million different ways? Probably. And that's up to you guys. All I'm doing is showing you guys how to do this, and make your videos. Test. Don't just take my word for it or the videos. Go out and test. And if you're getting different results, come talk to me. I mean, I'm always here to watch your videos and to chat with you. There's never been a player I've never talked to. Not from any country, not on the YouTube channel. I've always translated it. I've even tried to translate back into your languages. And I've had a really good time just meeting a lot of just cool players and players of all sizes, and again from different regions of the world. I mean, it's been really amazing. I really appreciate the support, and yeah, I love you guys to death. And so, okay, so we have the critical rates and we have the damages, right? So I would probably do. It's kind of a toss-up on these. I would probably do my missile attack rate next. I always try to max my missile out first before any of them, guys. And again, it would be either the main gun on the Conquer, or if you're energy, I would do the wing gun. And then since I know that the main gun's the weakest, I would do that last after maxing my two most powerful weapons on the ship, basically. So I guess, we'll just, we'll do the base on the wing gun here. And look at that, guys. 1.844. This is identical to what it cost to do all weapons, versus two of these, and now adding in your maxed criticals and your rates, and you see the other ones I put it on. But this is how I do my technology, and this is how I tell other people. And I've never had somebody come back and say, that didn't work. As a matter of fact, I have players always say, I got a higher score on my Titan. I got a higher score. So I have never had any negative feedback. Again, this is my hack. I'm finally opening it up basically to the public. And again, I can use these videos. So when somebody's asking me, because I say this, I can't even tell you guys how many times I've said this to help players out. So that's another reason why I'm kind of doing this video. And so what's going to happen here? Again, it's up in the air because I have not done this test in full, at least correctly necessarily. This is kind of a hard test to do and put it on video, not bore you guys to death, and so on and so on. So there it is. There is my technology equaled now with damage increased, maxed out. Okay. So nothing's changed, guys, just showing you. And, the other thing is, just since we're here, is I never mix my drones. Burning drones are for PvE, and I use recoils specifically for Planet Wars. And there's a reason why. You want your burning drones to have specific PvE skills, and your recoils for PvP. And so very stern about that. And if you want a higher score, do not use your recoils. Do not mix skills on your recoils. And this is just a quick, I'm going to just put it out there. How are you getting a higher score? And it's the burning drones, and it's the right skills on them. Here's my gems for you guys. Normally I do this in the beginning. I kind of forgot about it, but I'll just kind of let you see. Since we're using a physical ship, there is Freya. Okay, so that way you guys get to see this real quick. And I'm glad I brought that drone thing up. Having the right gems, having the right drone for what you're doing and having the right skills. And everybody's always like, why won't you tell us your skills? Because you guys need to go figure that out. That's the whole key to PvP and the whole key to basically PvE is having the right skill. So I have not given you guys the full key to the game yet. And you heard what I said, possibly yet. So, but I never show my skills to anybody. So, yep, you can ask, but I'm going to say the same thing. So I'll give you guys a hint, though, okay? I will give you a hint. Anything that says not for PvP is generally what you want on here. The snail and the airplane, not for PvP or for missions only. I would probably stay away from that, and I'll give you a little hint and a little help to the burning drone skills for your Titan. Again, look for what it says, and I'm giving you the gigantic hint here is not for PvP. But again, stay away from the snail and stay away from the airplane, because again, those are just mission specific skills. So I did throw you guys a bone into this a little bit here. So okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to test this little setup, and let's just see what happens here, guys. Okay, guys, what an incredible test that was here. And just going back to my point, there's a couple of different ways to skin a cat to kind of accomplish the same thing. Now, if we did this test 10 times, I think there would be a give or take poll. One would be a little bit higher than the other, and vice versa, depending on misses, different portions of the game, critical hits, and your score is never going to be the same. It's never going to be identical. It's, when you break it down, the only thing I don't like about Wing Fighter in this instance is it doesn't show exactly the full score. But again, with a give or take, high, low, high, low, what a cool test though, because again, here it is. I used the two damaged against ground, and I used damaged against boss, and I only used basically my missiles and my wing gun. And again, you didn't see me trickle any of this in. I didn't have to sit there and click my life away, kind of going against the grain of all the sheets and what everybody else is telling you. You need to put this on this, you need to trickle in a little bit here. I don't believe in trickling in the technology, guys. And so this is a really cool test into seeing you don't have to do it that way. There is a different way, and I just showed you guys. And so hopefully this helps. I hope there's a whole bunch of other players out there that go out and test this for yourselves. You guys have a different way of looking at technology now. You guys have a different way of doing this. You guys have a different way of testing. And yeah, I couldn't be more thrilled in the results. So again, 2 technologies with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and technically that's 8 technologies versus 12 technologies. So yeah, pretty stunned actually that it actually worked. So you guys go out and do your tests. Don't get stuck into the same routine here. Don't rely on somebody else's word. Don't rely on anything. I'm showing you guys how you can go out and do your own test. Go test yourself. Just because one person says or player says that it works doesn't mean that it really does. And again, that's kind of why I started this channel. I wanted to see if it was true. I wanted to see if I could make it better. I wanted to see if I could do things differently. And I am constantly never getting stuck in my ways and constantly going out and trying different tests and failed tests and good tests. And that's the point, guys. They're nerfing stuff. They're adding stuff. The drones are better now. The recoil sucked now. I mean, everything changes all the time with these updates. Nothing stays the same. So again, if you're using old sheets, old technology, test it, guys. Test it yourself. You guys just see me do this in front of you. And again, I hope other players go out and maybe advanced what I just showed you. And hopefully you guys come back and tell me something that I don't know. And maybe I should go try now. And that's what it's about, guys. We're just trying to get the high scores. We're just trying to get more point value out of the Titan. We're trying to be able to beat maybe a bigger player in PvP. And so, my biggest thing again, guys, we just have to have fun with the game. We're here to cheer each other on. We're here to help each other, like truly help each other. And, I really appreciate all you guys. And last but least, what I always say in all my videos, guys, and I just said it, just have fun.